Maya had always tried to fit in with her husband's family, but it was never easy. They lived in a grand house filled with expensive furniture, sparkling chandeliers, and a sense of pride that seemed to hover in the air like perfume. Maya, in contrast, came from a simple family. She was warm, kind, and hard-working, but her simplicity often drew quiet whispers and subtle laughter from her in-laws. The day of her father-in-law's passing was cold and gray. Snowflakes drifted lazily across the sky, and the house seemed quieter than usual. Maya's husband, Ravi, stood by her side, holding her hand tightly. She could feel his heart beating fast, sharing her tension and unease. The family gathered in the large living room, each member dressed in dark, formal clothes. The lawyer, a serious man in a crisp suit, cleared his throat and began reading the will. Maya's heart pounded. She had no idea what she would receive. Maybe a small sum of money, perhaps a family heirloom, or even nothing at all. Her in-laws exchanged knowing looks, as if they already had their own plans for her disappointment. And for Maya, the lawyer said, adjusting his glasses, your inheritance is this. He gestured to the corner of the room, where an old, dusty VW Beetle sat under a faded cloth. The room went silent for a moment. Then, Mrs. Kapoor, Ravi's mother, let out a small laugh. A car? Really? That old thing? How charming, she said, her voice dripping with mockery. Maya's cheeks flushed. She looked at the car, a faded blue Beetle with scratches, dents, and patches of rust. It was clearly decades old, barely running, and smelled faintly of old leather and dust. Ravi squeezed her hand. It's unique, he said softly, trying to sound supportive. Unique, snorted his brother, Arjun. Maya, do you really expect to drive that? Even the junkyard would laugh at this car. Maya felt a mix of embarrassment and anger. She had expected little, but this was more than she could have imagined. She wanted to defend herself, to say that she didn't care about material things, that she valued kindness and love more than wealth, but the words stuck in her throat. She walked toward the car, lifted the dusty cloth, and ran her hand over the faded paint. The engine was silent, but she could imagine the little car rolling down quiet streets, carrying memories from decades past. A small smile tugged at the corner of her lips, but it was quickly hidden by the weight of her in-laws' laughter. Driving the car home was an adventure in itself. The Beetle coughed and sputtered, its brakes creaking loudly, but it held together. Maya drove slowly, taking small roads where fewer people would see her. Every bump and jolt reminded her of how fragile the car and perhaps her own position in the family felt. That evening, Maya sat in the kitchen, sipping tea and staring at the car parked in the driveway. Ravi came in, concern written across his face. Are you okay? He asked gently. Maya sighed. I don't know. I thought maybe they would. I don't know, respect me a little more. But all they did was laugh. Ravi held her close. Don't let them get to you. That car, it's yours. And maybe it's more than it seems. Maya laughed softly, shaking her head. It's just a car, Ravi. Just a broken old car. But as she looked at it again through the kitchen window, she felt a strange pull, a sense that the Beetle had a story to tell. The dents and scratches, the faded paint, the squeaky doors, they were not just signs of age. They were reminders of journeys, memories, and secrets hidden in plain sight. That night, Maya lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. The laughter of her in-laws echoed in her mind, but so did the quiet hum of the Beetle, waiting outside. For the first time in years, Maya felt a flicker of curiosity, of hope. Maybe the old car was not a joke. Maybe it was the beginning of something new, something that could change her life in ways she could never imagine. Little did she know, the Beetle held more than memories. Hidden within its worn seats and rusty frame was a secret that would soon turn her world upside down and prove that her in-laws' laughter was the last thing she would hear about that day. Maya fell asleep with a small smile, clutching Ravi's hand, unaware that the old VW Beetle was about to change everything. The next morning, Maya woke early, her mind buzzing with thoughts about the old VW Beetle. The snow had melted slightly overnight, leaving tiny puddles that reflected the pale sunlight. She looked out the kitchen window at the car, parked quietly in the driveway, and felt a strange pull, an invisible whisper that urged her to take a closer look. Ravi was still asleep, tired from the emotional day before. Maya, feeling restless, decided she could not wait any longer. She wrapped a warm scarf around her neck, slipped on her boots, and stepped outside. The air was crisp, and her breath formed little clouds in front of her. The beetle sat there, small and unassuming, yet somehow commanding her attention. She opened the door carefully. The old hinges creaked loudly, echoing in the quiet morning. Maya ran her hands over the steering wheel, rough and worn from years of use. She leaned down to look under the seats, checking if anything had been left behind, as she often did in old cars. Her fingers brushed something unusual under the passenger seat, a small, dusty box, almost hidden by the torn carpet. Maya's heart skipped a beat. The box was old, made of dark wood, with intricate carvings on its surface. It looked like it had been there for decades, forgotten and waiting. She lifted it carefully, dust flying into the air. The box felt surprisingly heavy for its size. Maya opened it slowly. Inside were dozens of small, gold coins, each one gleaming despite the years. There was also a folded piece of paper, yellowed with age. She unfolded it with trembling hands. The letter inside was written in neat handwriting. It spoke of a secret saved long ago, a family treasure hidden to protect it from those who would misuse it. The writer mentioned that the treasure should only be found by someone with a pure heart, someone who would value it not for greed but for what it could achieve. Maya's eyes widened. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. Gold coins. A secret letter? It was like something out of a storybook. Her mind raced with possibilities, but more than anything, she felt a sense of wonder and awe. Ravi, awakened by the noise, stepped outside in his pajamas, rubbing his eyes. Maya. What's going on? He asked, noticing her excitement and the small box in her hands. You won't believe this, Maya whispered, holding up the box. It's a treasure. Hidden right here in the car. Ravi's eyes widened. Are you serious? Yes. Maya said, her voice shaking. All these years, nobody knew. My in-laws laughed at me for the car, but, look at this. She opened the box carefully for him to see. The golden coins glimmered in the morning sun, and the letter sat on top like an invitation to a new life. Ravi looked at her with a mixture of shock and admiration. Maya, this is incredible. You found something amazing. Maya smiled, feeling a warmth that had little to do with the cold air. I can't believe it. All this time, they thought the car was worthless. They laughed at me, but it was hiding something more valuable than they could ever imagine. They spent the morning carefully counting the coins and reading the letter again. Maya felt a mix of joy and disbelief. Each word in the letter seemed to speak directly to her, praising honesty, kindness, and patience. She realized that the old beetle had chosen her, in a way, as its rightful guardian. Ravi looked at her with admiration. Maya, this changes everything. You've always been patient, always kind, even when they treated you unfairly. Maybe this is your reward. Maya felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She had never felt so seen, so validated. For years, she had tried to earn respect from people who did not appreciate her. Now, in this quiet driveway, with an old car and a hidden treasure, she finally felt that she mattered. but there was also a quiet worry in her heart. The letter had mentioned that the treasure should be protected. Maya knew that once the news of the discovery spread, the laughter of her in-laws might turn into envy or worse. She would have to be careful, but for now, she allowed herself a moment of pure happiness. By the afternoon, Maya and Ravi had moved the beetle into the garage, placing the treasure box safely on a shelf. They sat together on the floor, holding hands and marveling at the day's discovery. The car, which had seemed like a joke just yesterday, now looked different. Its faded blue paint seemed to glow softly, and even its scratches and dents seemed to tell stories of the past, waiting for someone worthy to uncover them. Maya whispered to herself, almost in disbelief, who would have thought, this little car would change everything. Ravi hugged her tightly. It did change everything. And it's only the beginning. Little did they know, the hidden treasure was only the start of a journey that would test their courage, patience, and trust. The VW Beetle had more secrets to reveal, and the world outside their quiet driveway was about to notice the discovery that no one had expected. Maya could hardly sleep that night. Even as she lay beside Ravi, her mind raced with thoughts of the hidden treasure. The old VW Beetle had transformed from a source of embarrassment into a symbol of hope. She touched the small box of gold coins beside her bed, feeling their cold, smooth surface, and wondered how life had turned so unexpectedly. Morning brought a new tension. Maya knew that the discovery, if revealed, could attract attention she was not ready for. Yet, hiding it felt wrong too. Ravi tried to reassure her. "We'll be careful," he said gently. "We don't have to tell anyone yet. This treasure is ours to protect. For now, it's our secret." Maya nodded, though the idea of keeping such a discovery hidden felt heavy. She could see the excitement and curiosity sparkling in Ravi's eyes, but also the hint of worry. The following week was challenging. Rumors of the old beetle being unusual began to spread among neighbors. A few curious glances, whispered comments, and polite questions made Maya feel exposed. People had laughed at her in-laws' gift, but now their whispers carried a different tone, some skeptical, some envious. One afternoon, Mrs. Kapoor stopped by unexpectedly, her smile tight and eyes calculating. "Maya, dear, is it true that you've been spending a lot of time with that old car?" she asked innocently. Maya froze. She didn't want to lie, yet she didn't want to reveal the treasure. "I'm just fixing it a little," she said softly. Mrs. Kapoor's lips pressed into a thin line. "I see. Well, I hope you're careful. Cars like that can be unpredictable." After she left, Maya sighed in relief but felt the weight of suspicion pressing down. She realized that the laughter of her in-laws had not ended, it had transformed into curiosity and perhaps jealousy. That evening, Maya decided to explore the beetle further. The car had more hidden compartments than she had expected. Under the back seat, she found an envelope filled with old photographs. Each picture was faded, but they told a story of a family who had owned the car decades ago, traveling to distant towns, celebrating small joys, and leaving behind memories. Ravi watched as Maya carefully examined the photographs. "It's incredible," he said. "Every detail in this car, it's like it's alive, holding all these stories." Maya smiled, feeling a deep connection with the past. "It's more than just a car," she said softly. "It's like it waited for someone to uncover its secrets." The next day, a local collector visited unexpectedly, claiming he had heard about the old beetle and its rumored value. He inspected the car closely, his eyes widening when he spotted the small box Maya had carefully hidden under a cloth in the glove compartment. "This car, it's rare," the collector said, almost reverently. "I've never seen anything like it." "Where did you find it?" Maya felt a surge of anxiety. She had not intended to show anyone yet, but Ravi gently squeezed her hand, signaling calm. We've had it for years," she said cautiously. It belonged to my late father-in-law. The collector nodded slowly, sensing her hesitation. Well, it's remarkable. Cars like this don't come around often. Whoever owns it is very fortunate. After he left, Maya realized that the discovery had already begun to attract attention. She looked at Ravi, fear and excitement mixing in her eyes. What if everyone finds out, she whispered. Ravi hugged her close. Then they'll see what we already know, that the car was never worthless. And that you were always capable of finding its true value. Despite his words, Maya couldn't shake a sense of unease. The treasure had brought joy, but it also brought new challenges. People would want a share. There might be arguments, jealousy, or even attempts to take what belonged to her. That night, Maya and Ravi sat in the garage, the beetle shining faintly under the dim light. Maya ran her fingers over the small box of coins. It's strange, she said. I used to feel powerless in that family, laughed at and underestimated. But now, it feels like I have something no one can take away. Ravi smiled. Exactly. And the beauty of it is, you earned it without even knowing it. The car chose you. Maya felt a mixture of pride and caution. She knew the coming days would test them, but for the first time, she felt strong. The laughter of her in-laws had faded, replaced by a quiet determination. She would protect the treasure, the memories, and the car that had chosen her. And deep inside, Maya sensed that this was only the beginning. The beetle held more secrets, waiting for the right moment to reveal them, and when it did, her life would change even more than she had ever imagined. The days that followed were filled with quiet tension. Maya and Ravi tried to keep the beetle and its treasure hidden, but the small hints of curiosity from neighbors and the collector's visit had unsettled them. Maya often found herself glancing out the window, imagining someone approaching, hoping to see the old car or its secrets. One chilly afternoon, as Maya returned from the market, she noticed a car slowly pulling up in front of their house. It was an older model, dark and unassuming, but there was something about the driver that made her uneasy. A man stepped out, holding a neat folder in his hands. He was tall, with sharp eyes that seemed to study everything at once. "Good afternoon," he said, smiling politely. "I'm Mr. Sharma. I hear you have an old VW Beetle that might be valuable." Maya froze. Ravi, who had followed her into the driveway, placed a calming hand on her shoulder. "We're just ordinary people," he said cautiously. "The car, it's been in the family a long time." Mr. Sharma nodded, but his eyes gleamed with interest. "I understand. But sometimes ordinary things hide extraordinary secrets. May I take a look?" Maya hesitated. Something about him felt different, more serious, more determined than the curious collector who had visited earlier. She shook her head gently. "I'm sorry, but the car isn't for sale. It's personal to our family." Mr. Sharma's smile didn't waver. "I understand," he said softly. "But if you ever change your mind, I can offer you guidance. Sometimes treasures like these attract attention, and it's better to have someone who knows the history." He handed Ravi his card and left as quietly as he had arrived, leaving Maya with a growing unease. That evening, she sat with Ravi in the garage, looking at the beetle, now gleaming under the soft light. "Do you think he knew about the treasure?" Maya asked quietly, her fingers tracing the smooth edges of the box. Ravi shook his head. "I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter right now. We know it's ours, and that's what counts." Despite Ravi's reassurance, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that their discovery had opened a door they couldn't easily close. She decided to explore the car more carefully, hoping to understand every corner of it and ensure nothing was overlooked. As she lifted the back seat, her hand brushed against another small compartment hidden beneath a layer of old fabric. Her heart raced. Could there be more? She carefully opened it and found a stack of old envelopes tied with a faded ribbon. Inside were documents, maps, and letters, details of transactions and locations of valuable items that had been hidden over decades. Maya gasped. This was more than she had ever imagined. The treasure wasn't just the coins, it was part of a much larger secret. Someone had spent years protecting wealth and memories, leaving them to be found by the right person. Ravi leaned over, reading the top letter. Maya, this is incredible. This isn't just a treasure of gold. It's everything they wanted to preserve. History, memories, even investments. Whoever hid this, they trusted you without knowing you. Maya felt tears welling up. She had been laughed at, underestimated, and ignored, yet somehow, she had proven worthy without even trying. She felt a sense of purpose she had never felt before. But the sense of wonder was tinged with fear. Mr. Sharma's visit reminded her that others might soon come, seeking what had been hidden for so long. Maya realized that protecting the treasure would require courage, intelligence, and unity with Ravi. That night, they made a plan. They would secure the beetle, catalog every item, and learn more about the history of the treasure before deciding what to do next. They would not be intimidated by outsiders. As they worked late into the night, a quiet thought passed through Maya's mind: the laughter of her in-laws had once made her feel small. Now, she was part of something bigger, something meaningful, and they had no idea what she had discovered. Maya looked at Ravi, her partner and protector. Do you realize what this means? She asked softly. This little car, it has changed everything about our lives. Ravi nodded. Yes. And it's only the beginning. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Outside, the snow began to fall gently again, dusting the driveway and the quiet beetle in a soft white. Maya felt a strange calm. The car had chosen her, the treasure had chosen her, and she was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Little did she know, Mr. Sharma was not the only one who had learned about the car's secrets. The whispers in the town were growing louder, and soon, Maya's quiet life would be swept into a whirlwind of curiosity, envy, and adventure. The journey of the old VW Beetle had only just begun. Maya woke to the sound of birds singing outside, but her mind was restless. The past few days had brought excitement, curiosity, and tension. The hidden treasure in the old Beetle had changed everything, yet it also made her feel exposed. She knew others were becoming aware of the car's importance, and that made her nervous. Ravi, ever supportive, noticed her unease as they shared breakfast. Maya, he said gently, we've handled everything so far. We've been careful. You don't need to worry about anyone else right now. Maya nodded, but she could not shake a lingering fear. She had learned that once something valuable was discovered, it often drew attention from people who were not kind. Her in-laws' laughter had seemed harmless at first, but now she realized that mockery could turn into greed. Later that day, she went to check on the beetle in the garage. Ravi followed, carrying a small notebook to record everything they found. The car had already revealed coins, letters, maps, and old photographs, but Maya felt it might have more surprises waiting. As she opened the trunk, a soft click caught her attention. Hidden beneath the spare tire, she found a small metal box. It was locked with a tiny, intricate mechanism. Maya's heart raced. Whoever had hidden these treasures had gone to great lengths to keep them safe. I wonder what's inside, she said softly, turning the box over in her hands. Ravi studied it carefully. We'll figure it out. Slowly. We need to be cautious. The next morning, Maya received a phone call from Mr. Sharma, the mysterious visitor from a few days earlier. Good morning, Maya, he said politely. I hope I'm not disturbing you, but I wanted to follow up on my visit. I know about the car's history, and I believe it deserves proper protection. Maya hesitated. We appreciate your concern, Mr. Sharma, but we can manage. The car, and the treasure, is our responsibility. I understand, he said, his voice calm. But please be careful. Others may hear of its value, and not everyone will be as respectful. It's important to protect it. The call left Maya feeling both worried and determined. She realized that the world outside their home might soon become aware of the beetle's secrets. She and Ravi needed a plan to ensure the treasure remained safe. That evening, while cataloging the letters and maps from the hidden compartments, Maya noticed one map marked with an unusual symbol. Following it, she discovered a small, hidden compartment beneath the car's dashboard. Inside was a bundle of old bonds, rare coins, and papers that confirmed ownership of properties and valuables worth far more than they had imagined. Maya gasped. Ravi, this is incredible. This isn't just a treasure, it's wealth that could change our lives forever. Ravi looked amazed but serious. It is. But wealth also attracts challenges. We need to protect it carefully. Days passed, and whispers about the beetle began spreading more quickly. A few curious neighbors came by under the pretense of casual conversation. They asked about the car, its history, and whether Maya and Ravi had considered selling it. Each visit made Maya more cautious. She realized she could no longer treat the treasure as just a secret, it had become a responsibility. One evening, as Maya returned from the market, she found the old beetle's garage door slightly ajar. Her heart pounded. Ravi was home, but she could not see anyone else. She stepped inside slowly, calling his name. Ravi emerged from behind the car, holding the small metal box they had discovered earlier. Maya, he said softly, someone may have tried to get in. We need to be careful from now on. The treasure is attracting attention. Maya nodded, feeling a surge of courage. We've come this far. We won't let fear stop us. This car, this treasure, it chose us. We have to protect it. Together, they secured the beetle, reinforced the garage, and carefully stored the treasures. Maya realized that the laughter and mockery of her in-laws had made her stronger. If they had been supportive, she might never have learned the depth of her own courage. Now, every challenge was a test, and she was ready to face it. Late that night, as snow lightly fell outside, Maya sat in the garage, looking at the old beetle. Its faded blue paint reflected the dim light, but she no longer saw a simple, broken car. She saw a guardian of secrets, a protector of treasures, and a symbol of her own strength. Ravi joined her, holding her hand. Whatever comes next, he said, we'll face it together. The car has given us a chance to grow, to see who we really are. Maya smiled, feeling a calm determination. Yes. We won't let anyone take what isn't theirs. This is our journey, and we'll protect it with everything we have. Outside, the quiet night embraced the house, the beetle, and the hidden treasures. Maya understood that challenges would come, but she also knew that courage, patience, and love would guide them through. The journey with the old car was far from over, and the most important lessons were only beginning. The following days were tense. Maya and Ravi had secured the old VW Beetle and hidden its treasures carefully, but the quiet of their home was broken by a growing sense of unease. Every sound outside made Maya pause, every knock on the door sent her heart racing. The treasure had brought excitement, yes, but also danger. One afternoon, a stranger appeared at the gate. He claimed to be a historian interested in old cars and family histories. At first, Maya was polite but cautious. She knew that anyone curious about the beetle could be seeking more than just history. I've heard that the beetle you have is unusual, the man said, smiling politely. May I see it? Maya shook her head. I'm sorry. The car has been in our family a long time. It's personal. The man's smile did not falter, but his eyes darkened slightly. I understand, he said, stepping back. But treasures like that often belong in the hands of those who know their value. Be careful whom you trust. He left as quietly as he had arrived, but his warning hung in the air. Maya's unease grew. The treasure was no longer a private secret. People knew something special was hidden inside the beetle, and greed could awaken in anyone. That evening, Maya and Ravi decided to inspect the hidden compartments again. The small metal box under the dashboard had yet to be opened. They had tried to solve its intricate lock before, but the mechanism was delicate and complex. This could be the key to more of the treasure, Ravi said, examining the box. We need to be careful. Maya nodded, her hands trembling slightly as she carefully turned the lock. With a soft click, the box opened. Inside were documents that revealed ownership of several properties, rare coins, and old family jewels. Maya gasped, realizing the full scale of the fortune they had uncovered. It's unbelievable, she whispered. The beetle isn't just a car, it's a key to a lifetime of wealth and history. Ravi smiled, though his eyes showed concern. Yes, but we have to be careful. People may come for it. The treasure could bring trouble as well as opportunity. Sure enough, the very next day, subtle signs of attention began to appear. A few strangers lingered near the street, watching the house. Maya noticed them but did not confront them. She realized that being cautious was as important as being brave. Late that evening, Maya sat in the garage, staring at the beetle and the treasures they had uncovered. Her heart felt heavy. For years, she had been laughed at and underestimated by her in-laws. Now, she was faced with new challenges, yet she felt stronger than ever. Ravi, she said softly, I never imagined this car, or these treasures, would change my life so completely. I feel responsible. And I feel powerful in a way I never knew. Ravi took her hand. You've earned it, Maya. All the patience, all the kindness they brought you to this moment. The car chose you, but your heart made you worthy. Maya smiled, feeling a quiet pride. But deep down, she knew that pride could make one careless. The treasure was valuable, and greed could appear at any moment. A few days later, one of Ravi's friends noticed a stranger lingering outside the house. He was tall, quiet, and seemed to observe everything carefully. Ravi and Maya exchanged worried glances. The stranger's presence reminded them that their discovery was no longer private. Maya realized that protecting the beetle and its treasures would require more than just caution. It would require cleverness, teamwork, and sometimes even courage to face people who did not have kind intentions. That night, they made a plan. They reinforced the garage, moved some of the most valuable items to a secure location, and decided to remain calm and observant. Maya felt a sense of determination rising within her. The laughter of the past, the mockery of the in-laws, it no longer mattered. She was in control of her life and her discoveries. As she sat in the quiet garage, the beetle gleaming under the soft light, Maya whispered to herself, this car, it trusted me. And I will not let anyone take what is rightfully ours. Ravi joined her, and together they looked at the treasures spread across the workbench. They knew that challenges were coming, and perhaps even threats. But they also knew that courage, patience, and love would guide them. Outside, the wind howled softly, brushing against the garage walls. Maya felt a strange calm. She realized that the journey with the beetle was no longer just about wealth or secrets. It was about strength, trust, and discovering who they truly were. The night was quiet, but both knew that the shadows of greed were waiting. Soon, the true test of their courage and unity would arrive, and when it did, they would face it together, ready to protect everything they had discovered. The morning was calm, but Maya could feel a tension in the air. The quiet that had settled over their home felt temporary, fragile. Over the past weeks, the old VW Beetle had revealed treasures, history, and secrets, and now Maya and Ravi knew the world outside was beginning to notice. Greed and curiosity were everywhere, and the couple had to remain vigilant. Maya walked slowly to the garage, her heart steady but alert. The beetle gleamed softly under the morning light, its faded blue paint hiding a story far greater than anyone could imagine. She ran her fingers over the hood, thinking of how much her life had changed since that day when her in-laws laughed at the car. Ravi joined her, carrying a small notebook where they had recorded every treasure, every hidden compartment, and every document. "Are you ready?" he asked gently. Maya nodded. "I think so. Whatever comes next, we face it together." Suddenly, a knock echoed from the front door. Maya's heart skipped a beat. She and Ravi exchanged a glance. Carefully, she opened the door to find Mr. Sharma standing there again, but this time with a respectful smile. "I understand your caution," he said softly. "I only wish to help. The treasures you found are remarkable, and they deserve protection and proper care. No one should be harmed or taken advantage of because of them." Maya studied him for a moment. She could sense his sincerity. "We've managed so far," she said. "But thank you for your concern." Mr. Sharma nodded. "Then I will leave it at that. But remember, courage and wisdom go hand in hand. You have both in abundance." After he left, Maya and Ravi turned their attention back to the beetle. There were still small compartments to explore, but now they felt confident. They worked together, uncovering old ledgers, letters, and coins that added richness to the history of the car and its owners. Each discovery felt like a step deeper into a story that had waited decades to be told. By evening, the garage was filled with light, warmth, and the quiet hum of excitement. Maya looked at Ravi and smiled. "Do you realize how far we've come? From being laughed at to discovering something incredible, it's more than I ever imagined." Ravi smiled back. "And it's not just the treasure. It's what we've learned. Patience, courage, and trust, those are the real treasures." That night, as snow fell lightly outside, Maya and Ravi sat in the living room, sipping tea and reflecting on the journey. The old laughter of the in-laws, the whispers of neighbors, even the attention from strangers, it all seemed distant now. Maya felt a deep sense of pride. She had faced doubt, fear, and curiosity, and yet she had remained strong. Weeks passed, and the treasures were carefully catalogued, secured, and appreciated for what they truly represented. Maya discovered letters describing stories of past generations' families who had faced hardships, journeys they had taken, and joys they had celebrated. The beetle had become more than a car, it was a bridge between past and present, a symbol of hope and perseverance. One evening, Maya received a call from her in-laws. Their tone was different this time, curious, cautious, and even a little respectful. "Maya," her mother-in-law said softly, "we heard about your discovery. We wanted to congratulate you. Perhaps we underestimated you before." Maya felt a small smile tug at her lips. She could have held resentment, but she chose grace. "Thank you," she said gently. "The beetle has taught me that patience and kindness matter more than laughter or mockery. We all have something valuable to offer, sometimes it takes time for others to see it." Her in-laws paused, realizing the wisdom in her words. Maya could hear a quiet respect in their voices that had been absent before. She knew she had earned it not with wealth alone, but with courage, heart, and integrity. The next morning, Maya and Ravi decided to take the beetle for a short drive. They wanted to celebrate not just the treasures, but the journey itself. The little car sputtered and coughed, just as it always had, but now it felt alive in a different way. Every bump in the road, every turn, carried stories and memories, old and new. As they drove through quiet streets, Maya glanced at Ravi and said, "I never imagined a simple car could change our lives so completely." Ravi squeezed her hand. "It wasn't just the car. It was you, Maya. You saw the value where others saw none. You believed, even when they laughed. That's why the treasures found you and why our lives are richer now in every way." Maya felt a warmth spread through her heart. She had faced mockery, doubt, and challenge, yet she had discovered courage, love, and purpose. The VW Beetle had been the key, but she knew that the real transformation was within herself. And as the sun set, casting golden light over the small car and the quiet streets, Maya understood something profound. Life's true treasures were not always gold or coins, but the strength, love, and hope that grew when one believed in oneself. The beetle, old and humble, carried its secrets with grace. Maya and Ravi, now stronger and wiser, were ready for whatever came next. The laughter of the past had faded, replaced by respect, love, and the quiet joy of a new beginning. The journey had started with a laugh, but it ended with triumph and a heart full of hope.